dear students. Today I have taken the literature part of 10th class. So the poem Another Woman. So we will see it is written by Poet Imtiaz Dharkar, who has taken birth in a born 1954. So Imtiaz Dharkar, who writes Another Woman, it is one social issue, social evil. So what is happened to one woman in this society, in this male dominant society, how a woman bears, tolerates the tortures of the male dominant society. So here we will see about the poet that Imtiaz Dharkar is one social worker, filmmaker. She is a social worker, filmmaker, and got so many national and international awards, international prizes and awards by writing the social issues. Here in this poem, she also took one social issue, that is social evil. Social evil. What is going on in this society on the woman? Here, another woman is the representative of a whole woman society in this male dominance society. So, Imtiaz Dharkar, who has taken birth in 1954, is a social worker, filmmaker, and got so many national and international prizes and awards due to her writing, her filmmaking on the social issues and to give awareness to the society. So we will see this poem, Another Woman, represents this Another Woman poem represents the whole woman society. It represents the whole woman society. So we will see when a woman gets married and in her in-laws house, which things are happening and how she was tortured. So these in extreme state. So here it is given. A particular name of this a woman is not given because it is happened everywhere, every inch of the place it happens nowadays. So it is also related. This poem is related to the poem is related to the injustice dowry harassment to women by the male dominant society as well as women also. That means in this male dominant society, the tortures are given to one woman, not only by the males, also females are included in these situations. So, which type of injustices are going on, domestic violences are going on, one woman or whole woman society, not only due to the males, due to also females. Imtiaz Dharkar has written brightly in this poem. Let us see. This poem also is one, spread the awareness. This poem's objective is to spread awareness to control the victimized woman from the domestic violence so this poem's objective is what? Why did Imtiaz Dharkar had written this poem? She had written this poem to present in the society what is happened to one married woman in her husband's house. Which type of domestic violence she has to bear. Again, this poem's objective is to spread awareness, to control, to stop the victimized woman from the domestic violence. So how to save the woman, the victimized woman of domestic violence from this injustice? This is the motto of, or this is the objective of, this is the aim behind this poem. Let us see the line-wise explaining. This morning, she brought green methi. Methi meaning is fenugreek, green fenugreek. Green fenugreek. Methi means so. This morning, the woman, the bride, who is in her husband's house, went to market and brought green methi or green leaf vegetable. Leaf vegetable. Leaf vegetable. In the market, choosing the freshest bunch. The bunch of a fenugreek, green fenugreek, which was very freshest, superlative degree here, freshest one. Picked up a white radish. She picked up from that market, from that vegetable vendor, vegetable shop. She picked up one white radish and imagined when we are going to any market, before purchasing, before buying the items, we are imagining which type of a taste that material edible will be. Just like that, one lower middle class woman thinking that so sometimes it happens when we are going to purchase, market, to buy, to collect the edible things we are experiencing. We are imagining our experience, how the taste of that item. So here, when that woman picked up that white radish, she imagined the taste of that radish, the crunch in salads, in a raw, what will be the taste of that radish? It would make between teeth the sweet and sharp taste. That means that woman likes eating raw radish, which is giving sweet and sharp taste. But it is then put it aside. Aside meaning is outside. separate. Next, thinking it an extravagance. Extravagance meaning is the unnecessary expenditure. Unnecessary expenditure. So, after that, she thinks that to purchase, to buy that a white radish is unnecessary expenditure. Counted her coins out carefully, tied them a small bundle. Thinking it an extravagance, counted her coins out carefully. Already, fenugreek green leaves she had purchased, and she wanted to purchase a radish, but she did not purchase. She thought that it is the extra expenditure because she counted how much coins were given, how many coins were given by her mother-in-law or husband. She counted how much balance was there. Very carefully she counted, tied them a small bundle into her sari at the waist. Then, when she observed that more money will be expenditure, then she tied that balanced coins and kept on the west side of her. Came home, then from the market the woman returned to home, faced the mother-in-law's dark looks. That means one woman is tortured by another woman. The bride is tortured by a woman too. As her mother-in-law. So, here also the bride who went to market to purchase vegetables, when she returned with a fenugreek leaves, she had to suffer from her mother-in-law's side. Angry look, her mother-in-law gives her angry look. Then took the leaves and chopped them. Her hands stained yellow from the juice. Then it was daily matter to that bride. She went silently and washed the methi leaves or fenugreek green leaves and chopped, cutting into pieces, small pieces. Chopped means cutting into small pieces, that fenugreek green leaves. And yellow juice from that cutting methi, cutting the fenugreek leaves, stained, giving mark. Stained means giving mark. So, from the juice of that fenugreek leaves giving yellow juice, marked, stained her hand. Cut an onion, she cut also one onion, and fine and cooked, very finely, very small cut into small pieces and cooked. The whole thing in the pot. She kept methylates or fenugreek, chopped fenugreek leaves, onion inside one pot and kept on the stove. Over a stove, shielded her face from the heat. When we are going to cook, automatically fire is ablaze. It is hitting our face or our body. So she covered her face to get rid from that heat. The bride covers her face to get rid from the heat of the stove, of the burning stove. That means when one fire is burning, we are covering our face to save ourselves from that heat coming from that fire. So same thing happened. When she kept all the vegetables in a pot and kept it within the stove, on the stove, and ablaze the stove, automatically fire coming and giving us a heat. So she covers her face to save her face from that heat of a burning stove. Let us see next. So, the usual words came and beat their wings against her. The money spent, curses heaped upon her parents, who had sent her out to darken the other people's doors. The meaning, the usual words came and beat. In this, the usual words from this. That means this particular four lines represents the usual words to other people's door. Other people's door. Door. This stanza represents one woman is tortured by another woman as her mother-in-law. So, these 4 lines, the usual words came and beat their wings against her. The money spent, cautious, heaped upon her parents who had sent her out to darken the other people's doors. These 4 lines are representing one woman exploiting another woman, one woman who is that one woman, the mother-in-law of that bride. How the mother-in-law of that bride exploits and give injustices and giving domestic violence to a bride. To one woman gives torture, domestic violence to another woman. Here, the mother-in-law of that bride is torturing her daughter-in-law by speaking vague language. What are that? The usual words. Every day, her mother-in-law, the bride's mother-in-law, scolding her, blaming her by blaming, scolding her and her parents. Her parents sending that bride, sending their daughter to that in-law's house to make wrong things. That means purely it shows that a dowry harassment situation. That means parents did not give lower middle class family. They did not give enough dowry to that husband's side of that bride or in-law's side, for which every day, every inch of life inside that husband's house, that lady, that bride bears the domestic violence, scolding from the side of her mother-in-law. Mother-in-law not only blames the bride, blames also the family members, the parents of the bride, those who did not give enough dowry to them, and sending their child, their daughter, to her house for destruction. It was the blaming of mother-in-law to a daughter-in-law in this poem. So, again, her mother-in-law blames. She spent more money in market purchasing different vegetables. But that is not truth. Main truth, the mother-in-law is purely dissatisfied with that bride because she did not bring enough dowry from her parents. That's why both bride and bride's parents were blamed by, were scolded by this mother-in-law. Means one woman exploiting here another woman. Next, she crouched. She crouched meaning is sitting by bending the knees on heel. So, she crouched. When she was scolded by her mother-in-law, she crouched. She knelt down and sat on her heel. She crouched as usual on the floor. On the floor, she crouched, knelt down and sat on her heels beside the stove. Where the stove was, chula was burning, she was sitting by crouched and sitting on her heels near to that burning stove. When the man came home, she did not look into his face, nor raise her head, but bent her back a little more. Nothing gave her right to speak. That means the man came. Who is that man? The man is her husband. The man represents her husband. She crouched as usual. Regularly, she was sitting near to that burning stove on her knees, on her heels. And the man came, her husband came inside the house. She did not raise, neither she raised her head, not to saw that person. That means the life of that woman was more than hell inside her husband's house. She had not given permission to look at the face of her husband, raised her head not to speak, means she was very much restricted not to speak anything to her husband, because she did not bring more dowry, satisfied dowry to that family. That's why she has no right to raise her head before her husband, in front of her husband, and she did not have any right to speak anything. One marriage is one sacred organization, making one family smoothly. It is to go the lives of her and producing the family, making one family. But here there is no family at all. The woman, the bride is purely alone. Nobody is there to sympathize her, to give sympathy to her. Her mother-in-law scolding and her husband is too much arrogant, who does not speak anything to her, to his wife. And this bride does not have any right, according to them, does not have the right to talk to her husband or look towards her husband. So, she did what? She did not raise her head, did not speak to her husband when her husband came inside. Rather, she bent little more. Again, she crouched more purely towards the floor. That means she was frightened. The bride was frightened. To her husband. She has no right to look at her husband. Inside the in-laws' house. So, she did not have the rights, but actually she has rights. But in that mother-in-law's house, husband's house, she has, the right was not given to that bride to look at the face of the husband, to raise her head, to speak anything to her husband. That was purely injustices given to that bride. Next, she watched the flame hiss up and beat against the cheap old pot, a wing of a brightness against its blackened cheek. She watched the flame hiss up against here to here. That means after her husband's coming, she only looked at that burning stove. She looked at the burning stove. What the fire was beating on the old pot, old blackened pot. As the heat temperature is coming to blackened cheek. That means she was also exploited by her husband. When her husband met him or meets her at night, her face was darkened, was black by the teeth mark of her husband. That means she was exploited physically, mentally. She was abused in her husband's house, physically as well as mentally. So, when she crouched more, bending more heat is coming to her face, blackened face, what was made by her husband. And the same time, she looked at that fire, what was beating its wings towards the old pot which was on the stove. So, this was the house she had been sent to, the man she had been bound to. Her parents sent this woman, sent this bride, sent their daughter to that in-law's house, husband's house. Forever, लाइफ लॉन्ग. हिंदी में एक कहावत है, माँ तू डोली में जाता है, तेरा ससुराल तू डोली में जा और अर्थी से निकल. क्या है? एक औरत जब जाता है अपना ससुराल, उसके माए बापा बोलते हैं तू ऐसे कर, तेरा संसार है, इट इज योर फ्यूचर फॉर एवर, यू गो इन, डोली में जाओ, अर्थी से निकलो. दैट मीन्स द वोमेन्स फेट इज, लॉक इज, नसीब इज दैट she will go to her husband's house forever, and her dead body, when she will die, then she will come out from her husband's house. So here, this was the actually, literally in this society it is happened. जब एक लड़की को विदाई लेता है, उसको पेरेंट्स समझते हैं forever they were given to that daughter, to that husband's house. Only when she will die, she will come out from her husband's house. This is the pure, bare, naked truth of our Indian society. This was the house she had been sent by, and the man she had been bound to. That means our Indian women, mostly Indian women, were bound to, were forced to tolerate these injustices inside the husband's house. It is, the people think about that. It is the fate of the woman. It should be bound to the future she had been born into. She was the woman, a girl is born to spend her life inside her husband's house. Whatever tortures, whatever injustices, whatever the domestic violences are given to her, nothing should be happened. She is forced to bear that up to her death. This is our society, so-called society. After giving marriage, the parents thinking there is no link between one married daughter to her original parents' door or parents' house. पराई, लड़की पराई हो गई. हिंदी में एक कहावत है, लड़की पराई हो गई. वो डोली में जाना, अर्थी से निकलना उसका नसीब है. Nobody pays any attention towards this suffering lady. Next. So when the kerosene was thrown, just a moment of a surprise. How much one bear? Everything having one limitation. How much one woman will bear these injustices, domestic violence, everything having the certain limitation. When the limitation is over, nothing is left more. Only in her mind, that victim lady only thinks about the flame of the fire of the stove. A brilliant. So when the kerosene was thrown, there was no choice left in front of her. But bearing these things, she was exhausted. At first she had taken a big decision, extreme decision to commit suicide. That's why she was thrown the kerosene on her body to ablaze herself. That was the extreme step was taken by one woman inside her husband's house. When there was no choice for her to live inside in this society at that time, one woman takes her extreme step to ablaze, to commit suicide inside the husband's house because there is nobody for her to give sympathy, neither her parents' side, nor from the society, nor from her husband's house. Only choice was there in front of her to commit suicide by throwing the kerosene on her to ablaze her. Everything will be finished. So, it was the only choice that she had ever known. Another thoughts blazing in the dark. That means this is not one thing is happened. Thousands, lakhs of ablating dowry harassment case is going on. The women were committing suicide. It is another one. Continuity is another woman means continuity of women's suicide case. That means here it is happened. There was no choice. She was extreme step she has taken extreme step and thrown the kerosene on her. It was ablazed. And the people, they did not raise anything, any question why that gay woman committed suicide. Rather, they sealed, they covered their face from that ablaze, from that temperature. Nobody asking the question. That means purely injustice is given to one woman. Nobody raised this question. So, my dear students, it is continuity. Another woman is meaning is it is a continuity. Though 1961 dowry provision Act came into existence, still it is going on. Dowry is given, dowry is taken. But Dowry Provision Act 1961 it was started. But it is in a record. Practice is another thing. The suicide, murder, dowry harassment is going on. So my dear students, that's all about your poem Another Woman. So thanks that you are listening and observing. Give your comments in your comment box. Jai Hind.